Let's go shopping. Whee! Hello, fellow Novians. My name is Rob, and welcome to another video in this tutorial series. Today, we're going to be talking about shopping in the Dual Universe. So, since the inception of these handy-dandy dispensers, and the game code change that allowed you to see what was in a dispenser when you were buying it, these player shops have been popping up all over the place. So if you're used to going to Market 6 and crashing into things and exploding and whatever else, because Market 6 is a freaking graveyard of ships, you can alternatively come to one of these stores. So this is Gotmart. It is one of the player stores, and it sells pretty much everything. As you can see, we've got some fuel here. He's got signs set up for containers, general ship parts, Atmo engines, fuel tanks. It's kind of like set up like a convenience store, just like signs that tell you what's down every aisle, right? And then some other stuff going on over here. I don't know. There's some kind of light show. What is this? This is windows, canopies, force fields, detection zones. Oh, so we got another floor here. That's new. Whee! Ah. A whole new world with faces on the screens. That's creepy. That's kind of creepy. I don't know what to tell you there. And like a light floor. What is this going on? Matte white plastic and probably some lights up in the ceiling. Oh, that's kind of ingenious there. I like that. Oh, Jesus. That is kind of cool. That's a nice little dance floor look. So maybe I'll do a tutorial on lighting eventually. We can talk about that. But it's basically just a light behind some slotted voxels. But yeah, that is pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to talk about how these dispensers work, how you would use them, and the biggest no-no, which is buying things in VR. So you can come over here in VR, and most places you go in VR, you'll see a sign as soon as you come off the VR pad here that says, "Do not shop in VR." The reason for that is when you go out of VR, it's kind of like doing a force respawn. It drops your entire inventory, with the exception of like your scans and compacted ships and blueprints and things like that. That kind of stuff stays in your inventory because it's back in your other character. But as you can see, there's nothing in this character's inventory. This is a surrogate character. So if I did buy something, it would drop it before I leave. And the person who bought it, there's the owner right there, Gotchar. I think he's done a pretty good job with this place. But yeah, you drop things, and so just generally do not shop in VR, but the way you use these is you go up to them, you click F to get a batch, and this one is set to 4 atmospheric fuel tanks, small for 9,600. So the number right here tells you how many you're getting, and this is the price for one batch, which is whatever is in the contents. Right, and you can also change the wallets. So I could use my Corp wallet instead of my regular wallet to buy from these, etc., etc. You can see if I come over here, it's probably set to 1 basic Atmo engine large. Oh, these are 4. What is it? All of it set to 4? Warp drive. No, warp drive is set to 1, but that's a pretty good price. Last time I looked at Market 6, it was like 1.4 million. So that's how that works. So let's go ahead and get out of here and go back to the org, Chimera, where I have all my stuff set up, and we can talk further about this stuff. So I will see you right there when we pop over. All right, we're back at the Chimera Shipworks showroom, and I just wanted to touch on this surrogate VR station list real quick. Places you know that sell stuff, generally people are selling ships in their showrooms, and the vendor pods are set up to sell you blueprints. And so, like, you have Captain's Customs showroom, probably got another one down here, Loaded showroom, etc., etc., and you see Got Mart here. That's where we just were. If we go to search and we type in showroom, right, we get a list of all of the showrooms that you can go visit and see ships on display and purchase the blueprints or get tokens. And we'll talk about tokens in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to touch on this real quick because some people might say, you know, how do I find the showrooms? Well, if you go to these showrooms and then you click on your character, right, and you center on character, and then you right click there, you can save that as a waypoint or a destination, in your map. And that way you know how to get back there, because as we said, we do not buy things in VR or you will lose them. It's a nice way to give somebody a donation, but not so good for you. Alternatively, like, you can type in market. You might get a couple things here. Dragon Market Jago. Apparently there's a teleporter at Market 6. You don't want to do that because, you know, issues. CYT Market at the Alioth Spaceport, etc., etc. So, you know, go ahead and check those out. Jump around, see what's going on. It's a good way to just use those surrogate pods to figure out where things are and what's on offer before you waste a bunch of fuel getting out there. I would highly suggest get the Got Mart, though. It's kind of in the desert, so it's a little bit out of the way, but they do have everything. So if you're looking to buy a bunch of parts or some other stuff, you can take your big ship out there. So we're over here in the Chimera Shipworks showroom, and we're going to talk about how these things work, right? So as we see, I have the Demios here is on display. It is a 15 million blueprint and a 40 million token. So if you want the blueprint, you just come to the vendor here, the dispenser, right? You click F and you just buy the blueprint. And that would take 15 million out of your wallet or whatever wallet you wanted to use. I'm going to click no because I don't want to do that. So how is this set up? How would you use this on your own? So if we go into build mode, let's get that off my screen, right? Let's use something small so I can point at it, right? If you go into build mode, so the things you need on this, if I right click, you get a bunch of stuff here, edit batch content, etc., right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull all of these blueprints out. We'll show you how to set this up. There are 6 blueprints in here. So in order to sell, you first of all need a cargo container, which is an extra small, and then you need to link that cargo container to your dispenser. Dispensers do not have their own storage, so they cannot sell anything. However, they need an image of what you're selling. So the way to set this up would be, I would go in here, I would split this stack here by holding shift and dragging, and just set 1. So I have 1 separated right there. So if I go in here and I go to edit batch content, you can see that there is 1 already in there. This is not a unit, this is just an image. So it's not even going to take this. So if I drag this over here, you can still see that this 1 is in my inventory. So what that does is it sets the amount you're selling as an image. So I'm only selling 1 blueprint. If I wanted to sell 5 Demios cargo transports, like if I wanted to create a batch of 5, I could drag this 5 here, and then like if we go out and we click on here, it's going to say 5 here. So now I'm selling 5 ships for 15 million. So you want to watch out with that. You don't want to accidentally sell a batch of 5 blueprints for 15 million for a large, you know, a big old hauler ship, right? So we go in here, edit batch content. I'm going to go ahead and replace that with, whoops, now it made 6. So with this 1, and if we go look at this, it'll just say 1 blueprint again. And then we can put the rest of them in the storage, and this will automatically pull 1 from the storage every time it's used. Hopefully that makes sense. Other things you can do here under advanced is you can set limit of time between uses. So if you don't want somebody spamming something, like say you're giving away a free speeder or something, you don't want somebody just like pulling one out every 2 seconds. You can set a limit of time between uses so that if somebody pulls something out of your dispenser, they have to wait a certain amount of time. Set price, obviously, this is how much the thing that you're selling costs. You want to make sure you fill that out. If you select 0, it's free. So again, if you're giving away free stuff, don't show confirmation if price is 0. That's if you don't want your org wallet or your own wallet getting spammed with free stuff that people are getting. These are just tagging stuff, right? Set claim limit would be how many somebody can take. So say you're giving away, like if you go to the hydronic library, you can only get 1 blueprint out of their vendor per character. So if I set a claim limit here, currently it's on 0, which means they can take as many as they want. But if I set it to 1, you could only grab 1 on your character, and then you wouldn't be able to claim any more. Yeah, and that's how that is set up. So I can't set these element rights, but basically if you wanted this to be a public vendor, so you want anybody to be able to take out of here, you would go into RDMS. You would set up a tag for this, right? Not relation tags or anything like that. But you would basically create a tag for this in your RDMS and make sure that your thing is set to all. So if we look at RDMS here, right? If I go to my own stuff here, if you look at how these things are set up, you would create a tag for the unit. You would assign that tag to the unit. So we could say like shopping or whatever you wanted to assign. You could use the same tag for every single unit that you have set up. But the way you want to set the policy up is you want this to say all. Yep. Add. And that means that everybody has the right. And then you want to select the withdraw, take items from container or whatever it is. You don't need view container contents because it automatically tells them that, right? So all you need is the deploy. Yeah, you got to find the stupid thing in here, right? Not put items in container. Retrieve items from container. That is the one. Or use element, I think, is also another one. Yeah, use element. So that's the one we want. Use element, and then you would select the tag for that unit. So we'd have to make a tag for it. I didn't set the RDMS up on this, so I can't exactly show you, but this is how you would do it. You would set all, use element, and then whatever tag you created for these. So these are owned by Chimera, so I can't really set the tags on them and things like that. But it would be right here, set element rights. If I click on that, it's going to say action forbidden. But that's how you do it. So you have to have a storage container, and you have to set all those settings in here to make sure you're not giving away free blueprints or something else bad, and that your batch is the right size. Now let's talk about shopping in general, right? So earlier I showed you that this is just for selling the blueprint. Now let's talk about tokens. If you see that they are selling a token, it means that you can buy the full ship completely put together for you, and you just pick it up and you go, and they hand you the keys. And on most of these screens, you'll see like a Discord contact, right? There's my Discord contact. If you contacted me at Discord and you said, hey, I want to buy a Demios token, I would say, okay, come over in 30 minutes or something like that. Here's the location of it, etc., etc. And you would come over and we'd do a trade. You'd give me the money. I would give you the token key. So when I say token key, let me show you how this works. Let me actually use one of my ships. I don't think I can tokenize this because it's org related. So give me one moment and we'll go over to the my version of the Scantron Max, and I can show you how to tokenize that. All right, we're over here at the actual base. You can see the Chimera Shipworks showroom over there in the distance. I think it's coming together very nicely. I might have to do some more pattern work on the gray side over here to just kind of make it pop a little bit more, but it's pretty much done on the exterior, and the interior for most of the showroom floors is pretty much done. So I am happy. That has taken a good amount of time, maybe like half a month on that. And I've been using the wheelchair, as I talked about in my last video, to kind of like get back and forth between there and the factory over here. But let's talk about tokenizing constructs, right? If you right click on here and you go to advanced, you see a option that says tokenize construct. If you go ahead and click on that, it says warning, a tokenized construct cannot be interacted with. So if I create the token, which I'm going to go ahead and do, I can no longer use this ship. Like, I can't interact with the buttons, can't do anything. It's just stuck there until I hand over the token. So this is the token key. It says construct key, Scantron Max. And this would be what you hand over when we talk about tokenizing a construct. This is the token. So if you were doing a trade, or you're just trying to hand over like a ship to your own org or something like that, like let's say that you're out of slots to be able to use a construct anymore, like you know, in the skills, you can't deploy any more constructs. So one way around that is a lot of people create their own org that they use to get more available constructs. So this Scantron Max is actually owned by my org, because I cannot deploy any more constructs until I level up that skill to deploy constructs. Construct, 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 construct. Let's say it a lot more. All right. So if we look at the key here and we right click on it, we got a bunch of options. This one down here is use construct key 4. So if I wanted to transfer it to Chimera, I could do that. And it would transfer the key to Chimera, and the ship would belong to Chimera. If I wanted to transfer it to my own org, I could select that and it would transfer it to my own org. Or if I just select use construct key, it would transfer it to my personal player. So the way you would work with this, these two things don't really do much at the moment from what I found. So don't click claim, because then sometimes it won't let you use. Equip does nothing, stack does nothing. So all this stuff, the really only two you want to pay attention to are the two down here, right? So if I went ahead and I did the trade, or you were doing a trade with somebody, you would get the key in your inventory, and you would just go ahead and use it, and that would give you the ship. The ship would be fully yours. The other thing to take into account is you can see right here, it says 58 minutes on the key. If you do not use the key or trade the key and somebody else uses it, it'll disappear in 58 minutes and the ship will revert back to its last state. So if something happens that you're not able to use a key or you're stuck, you have to wait out that hour basically to be able to use it. Another thing to keep in mind is if you're attached to a container, make sure that you have your nano pack selected as your default container in order to use that key. Otherwise, it'll throw up an error. It doesn't give you the normal error when you're pulling from the wrong container. So it just says some kind of generic error. And it took me a good like 10 minutes to figure out that, oh, I need to select my nano pack and use the key, because I was trying to use the key with my extended storage selected. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and use this construct key for my org, and it disappears, and now the ship is back to being mine. So that is how a token works. That is what tokenizing your ship does. It is not the same as compactifying a ship. If you look here, we have another option that says construct compactification. It won't work on this because it says you can only compact things that you own. So you have to personally own something to compact it, and it can't have more than like 3 engines. It can't have storage containers on it. And it has to be only a certain amount of weight. So you can't go around just compacting everything and putting it in your inventory. This would be a little much to put in your inventory, in my opinion. Well, hopefully that answered a lot of questions on buying, on how the little player vendors work, and all that good stuff. So if you liked this video, go ahead and throw that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I would greatly appreciate any subscriptions that get dropped. We're getting pretty close to 100 subs. That's pretty exciting to me as a very small YouTube content creator. I know that's like a drop of the bucket in terms of other creators, but I appreciate every single person that subscribes to this channel. And if you want to get notified of future videos, go ahead and slap that notification button. Otherwise, I will see you out there in space. Stay safe out there.